If you ask many Kenyans who was the first Inspector General of Police, many would tell you that it was Kimayo, aka Sieke. But no, Brigadier General Edwards was the first Inspector General. He was the Inspector General of British East Africa from 1908 to 1920. He was the Inspector General for British East Africa and Uganda. Yes, our country used to be known as British East Africa up to 1920, when it was called Kenya Colony and Protectorate. It was two countries in one. The coastal strip was known as Kenya Protectorate, and the rest of Kenya was known as Kenya Colony. So up to 1920, Brigadier General, who was a retired British officer, was the first and only Inspector General for British East Africa Police and Uganda. Under him, there was a police commissioner for British East Africa Police, that is Kenya Police, and there was a police commissioner for the Ugandan Protectorate. In 1920, when Kenya became different from Uganda police-wise, we started having police commissioners heading. But around 1940, can't remember very well, but there was people like Colonel A.Y. Young, who was the British, who was taken from New York. He became the Inspector General, and then there was also another British Brigadier General during the Second World War. So Inspector General started far ahead. I wanted to discuss with you about how each and every police boss heads. You'll find that basically, I'm only talking of police commissioners in the police since independence. I want to characterize them according to their tribes. And by tribe, I don't mean Luhya, Kikuyu, and so on. In the police, there is tribalism, which comes with the formation. For example, 1978, when Ben Gedhi was made the Commissioner of Police, you'll find that a subsequent promotion for above the rank of OCS used to be called, it's still called HTC, Higher Training Course. Out of the 25 people, 25 OCSs who are attending the OCPD course, you'd find that 15 were from GSU and 10 were from all other departments. So that is the tribalism in police. But this one is meant to assess and compare and contrast the characteristics and the way they administered the police during their time, and to see if future selection of police bosses can be informed by this step. Before I continue, there is a few interjections before I continue. You'll find that being the boss in Kiganjo is very fruitful, because among others, Shadrach Kiruki was taken out of he was the commandant Kiganjo and was made the police boss straight, not through any other place. Then there is also the current DIG for the administration police, Gabo. He was taken from the same office and made the DIG AP. And when you come to Japheth Koome, the current Inspector General of Police, he was removed from that office and made the Inspector General. That office is lucky. I don't have a child who is a police officer. I would have wished that child to end up as a Commandant Kiganjo. Now, you'll find that I've not talked a lot about AP because AP used to be like the American police. We have the county police, where in the US we have the national police, which is the FBI. But FBI behaves more like DCI. And then we have the state police. Then we have, before the two merged, not even that, even before, long time, before even some of us joined the police, the Kenya police, which is known as general duties, behaved like a state police in America. And AP used to behave like a county police. AP started in 1920 as tribal police, where people from different tribes were selected to be trained so as to assist chiefs and their assistants in enforcing law under the Chiefs Act. So you'll find that initially trainers of AP were military people like Major Muya. When the history of administration police will be written, a good part of it will be, and a pleasant part of it will be dedicated to two people. There is Major Muya from the army, and then there is Kinuthia, Governor Kinuthia, who became the governor of Nakuru. Those are people who modernized AP to be what it is. When Major Muya left, they started handing over most of the senior positions in APTC were headed by provincial administration, that is DOs and DCs. So that the commandant AP was of the rank of a senior DC. And he used to, you could find that the commandant was putting on the badges of rank of a district commissioner, his deputy also putting the same rank, but you see, there is a senior district commissioner 1, district commissioner 2, and district commissioner 3. And their teachers were mostly NCOs who were there, and on the officers level, they were administration officers. So whenever AP had a passing out, they used to borrow inspectors. I can use the word borrow. They used to borrow inspectors from GSU training school. That is why they were close to each other. So even the first DIG, DIG of AP, whose name I've forgotten, he was, there was a problem when during his interview, because they were trying to put their police officers, and he was a district commissioner. So they ended up by saying that since the AP and provincial administration was just the same, DOs are more or less police officers. But nowadays we have professional police officers heading AP. So you'll find that the police, the reason why I recorded this is that most of the police bosses, starting with the commissioners and later Inspector General, were from general duties. But we had some who were outside general duty, career general duty, and I wanted us to study them. From the intelligence, the first police boss was Hinga. Many people do not know that Hinga was made the police commissioner when he had just been promoted from being director of intelligence. Hinga performed so well, and give anybody who becomes a police boss would, if you ask them, they'd say, I want to do the job the way Hinga did. Very professional. And the reason why Hinga was removed was because President Moi wanted to micromanage police, and Hinga was not for the idea. So Hinga was an ideal boss. Boynet, Inspector General Boynet, was small in structure, but I can say that among the top police bosses, given a fair, he did his work properly, and he should be proud of it. But why are we intelligence people? Because I am a career intelligence officer. Walitoa wapi Mutiambai? Our scorecard was very good, but Mutiambai came, and he probably could be the worst police officer to date. Then we go to investigations. I've said that with the intelligence, apart from Mutiambai, I would be walking around boasting that we are the best police bosses. When we come to investigators, those are the worst. And I'm very fair to our cousins. Look at the first one was Kiruki. Kiruki was even unceremoniously removed from office. I think there was an incident where a policeman shot and killed a student at Kenyatta University. Kiruki, the only good thing Kiruki did was to introduce CPA in the police, Christian Police Association. The other week, the recruits who were passing out, Catholic had offered a few padres who became police. So I don't want to use the word he Christianized. He put a lot of religion into the police service. If that thing would have happened during my time, I would not have been sacked. We really lacked spiritualism during my time. You see, a military man comes from Somalia. Before he integrates with his people, he's taken through counseling at Forces Memorial Hospital. But what about police? You pick dead, rotting bodies and nobody cares about it. So Kiruki only assisted as far as religion was concerned. The next person who took over was Wachira. Wachira is a family friend, very close to my father, but Wachira performed normally. Not bad, not good. He did. Then there is Nyaseda, the comic one. And that is why he even had the government go and look for a police commissioner outside. They brought in a military man. Now let us go to the GSU. GSU, the first person who headed GSU was Gethi, because when he took over from Hinga, he came out of Ruaraka and headed to the police headquarters. And it was so funny because the president summoned Hinga to State House, and Hinga went there in uniform. So they talked. Actually, it was a shouting match because Hinga was telling the president, "You do your work, leave my work." Then the last thing he had Moi saying, "Okay, enda kwa ofisi yako tuone vile itakuwa." And going to his office, found at the door there was a new name tag, and on his desk was seated Gethi with the full commissioner's